Once again, you already know what it is, and you already know where you have reached the number one up and coming professional wrestling podcast anywhere in the world. This is Hubbard Wrestling Weekly, and we are so fired up to be with you again. Today is Friday, May 23rd, 2025. Man, the year is just flying by. So happy to have everybody here. Once again, a late arriving audience, but I want to give a big shout out to the one and only Sir Quills in the building. He says, "What's going on, Hubs? Your boy Sir Quills back again to enjoy another dope edition of HUBBanomics. Let's get to part two of the social media invasion. Hashtag HUBBanomics, hashtag HWW. I appreciate you, my brother. Clown13Z4 Tweezy says, "Good afternoon, everyone." And he also says, "I'm really going to miss around the horn." Same here, bro. Same here. But listen, my name is Sean Hubbard, and this is the HUBBanomics series brought to you right here on Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. Joel, I appreciate you, man. What's going on, my dude? Appreciate you. Welcome. So, listen, man, I'm really excited about this episode because I want to keep the momentum going from last week. I want to thank everybody who was able to stop by and enjoy the 25th installment of HUBBanomics entitled Pro Wrestling Social Media Invasion, Part 1. And This is Part 2, man, because there was a really big elephant in the room that I did not get a chance to discuss last week. And I want to kind of bring it to the forefront today as we discuss the social media uh, dynamic in the world of pro wrestling, specifically World Wrestling Entertainment. Before we get to that, though, a quick programming note: make sure you tune in each and every Wednesday night, each and every Monday night, 6:05 Eastern Standard Time, as myself and Conrad Cushman bring you Clash of the Podcast, as well as Wednesday night. Make sure you check out my boy Conrad and my guy Derek as they bring forth the AEW review every Wednesday, immediately following AEW. So here we go. As we talked about last week, there are so many, I guess you could say, points of contention that I have as it relates to, as I worded it last week, and I'm not going to back off of what I said last week. I said that WWE has slutted themselves out. And I agree with what I said, and I'm not going to take back what I said. I think WWE has really gone above and beyond in a poor way of going to the outer limits and the upteenth degree to try and bring in social media and or um, music or movie stars or whatever the case may be. We talked last week about Kai Cenat. We talked last week about, literally one of the most prestigious, spots in the world of wrestling, which is a spot in the Royal Rumble, going to somebody like ISHO Speed. The list goes on and on and on. But what I want to talk about more specifically today is the atrocity that took place at WrestleMania earlier this year. Clown, I see the comment. I don't know if I can put that up, but I got you. I appreciate you. Ray Thompson in the building. He says, "Hope you were doing well, man. I hope you're doing well too." And Joel says, "When are we going to get Knicks hugging HUBBanomics?" I'm going to talk about the Knicks tonight a little bit, but that might be a good idea. We got to win tonight. Tonight's must win after that choke job that we did. I admit was a choke job on Wednesday night against the Pacers. I will put it up. Why not? I will put it up. Clown13Z says, "A slut does it for free while a whore does it for the money. That's what WWE is, a whore." Clown, that's why we appreciate you, man. M. Leezy for Sheezy, thank you for being here, my brother. He says, "Good afternoon, everyone. Let's go Knicks." Let's go Knicks indeed. This series is not over. I know Wednesday was a big letdown, but I'm actually predicting victory tonight for the New York Knicks to tie up the series 1-1, and I think we're going to get right back in the mix starting tonight. But let's get back to business. WWE, I've said it before and I'll say it again, does not care what the fans want. I really think that we need to all acknowledge that elephant in the room, okay? WWE doesn't care anything about your thoughts, your preferences. They don't. The only thing they care about is the almighty dollar. not to get preachy on you guys, but as you guys know, I am a Christian, so I'm going to throw a little scripture at you. The Bible says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. It doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. People mess that up a lot. People think money's the root of all evil. No, money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. And I promise you, WWE loves money and will do anything in its power to get your money, to get my money, to get our money. They will do anything they possibly can. And in the rule of business, I cannot be mad at somebody trying to get their money. However, the problem becomes if you are going to continue to do what you do to get money, even at the detriment of the, let's say, integrity of your product, that's when it becomes a problem. WWE is doing things that are blatantly and completely putting in jeopardy the integrity of its product. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of a company that is supposed to be for the people. It's supposed to be about what the people want, literally doing nothing that is required to live up to that standard. Now, how are they not living up to that standard? Well, like I said, ISO Speed being in the Royal Rumble. We talked about that last week. Check out the episode from last week. Kai Cenat. We talked about that last week. But one thing we did not discuss, and I'm going to get into it right here and right now. I don't care who you are, where you come from, or what your background is as it relates to your wrestling fandom. You do not, under any circumstances, do what WWE did at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada, at Allegiant Stadium, was one of the biggest disgraces I have ever seen in my life. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. The Rock and John Cena jump Cody Rhodes at Elimination Chamber. We all think this is going to lead to either a match with The Rock for Cody Rhodes, or at least The Rock being involved in the main event of WrestleMania. However, instead, and notice I did leave somebody out of that jumping of Cody Rhodes at Elimination Chamber, but instead we get the emergence of Travis Scott. Travis Scott. Now, do I have an issue with Travis Scott? I don't. Do I have an issue with him being involved in the product? I don't. But what in the world? What in the name that is whole of anything holy and righteous could you come up with in your mind to justify that the major run-in, the major swerve, the major big moment of the main event of WrestleMania be the interference of Travis Scott? I want you guys to think about that for a moment. I want you to think about how the man who formerly ran the company hit The Rock over the head with a chair at WrestleMania 2000. I want you to think about, as terrible as it was, Hulk Hogan winning the title right after Bret Hart won it at WrestleMania 9. I want you to think about Gorilla Monsoon restarting the match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. I want you to think about Mike Tyson counting the 1, 2, 3 for Stone Cold Steve Austin against Shawn Michaels. I want you to think about the former owner of WWE turning on The Rock, or joining forces, I should say, with Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17. I want you to think about WrestleMania 21, Batista. I want you to think about WrestleMania 23, HBK and Cena. I want you to think about last year, where we had the emergence in a world title match of Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, The Undertaker, The Rock. And this year, the payoff is the emergence and interference of Travis Scott. What is going on here? What is going on here? It is the most ridiculous and pointless finish, in my opinion. Arguably, I know Hogan, Bret Hart, Yokozuna, okay, whatever. But arguably the worst finish in WrestleMania history. John Cena and Cody Rhodes are laid out in the middle of the ring. The whole crowd knows somebody's going to come, and it turns out to be Travis Scott. I didn't have a problem with Travis Scott coming to the ring with Jey Uso and eating in the audience. That was cool. I didn't have a problem with Travis Scott helping The Rock and John Cena beat up Cody Rhodes. But Travis Scott is your payoff at WrestleMania? And you have the audacity, whoever it is out there, I don't know who you might be, but you have the audacity to actually say that Triple H is, quote unquote, doing a great job? Now, what now? Triple H is doing a great job? In what world? Do you realize that the wrestling world should probably prepare themselves? I'm sure it's not going to, hopefully it's not going to happen. But do you realize that there's a chance that Logan Paul could be the next world heavyweight champion? Let that sink in. Don't worry, I'll wait. Nope, I'm waiting a little longer. Keep thinking. Logan Paul could be the next heavyweight champion of the world. The same belt, figuratively, that has been worn by Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Brock Lesnar. That belt. That belt. Logan Paul. And you can't tell me that it's a guarantee that Jey Uso is going to retain the title. Oh, I think Jey Uso is going to win, but there's no guarantee. Are you? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, I'm totally confident, 100% confident that Jey Uso is going to retain. 1 being, Logan Paul's going to win. Scale of 1 to 10. You put it in the chat for me, guys, of how nervous you are. Because me, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that Jey Uso's guaranteed to retain the title, I'm at about a 5. I'm at about a 5. Let's go to some of the comments. Quilly saying what's up to Conrad. That's what's up. M. Leezy Fashizi says, when the product isn't worth what the price hiking to two stupid prices, I agree. Ray Thompson with an AEW reference. He says, one Khan puts money over the fans and the other puts his own fantasies over the fans. At least the other one seems to be a nice guy. That's a sound assessment by Ray. I appreciate that, Ray. Emily Z. Rashid says, 41, one of the worst of all time with the worst builds of all time as far as WrestleMania is. I agree, Emily Z. Clown says, well, they're about to run it back. Sorry, New Orleans. Not about it no more. Not about it no more. I just caught that. Another thing, we're just going to yank the rug out from New Orleans. Like, what is going on here? First they do Minnesota dirty. Now they're doing New Orleans dirty. It's disgusting. It's not proper business practice. What's up, Conrad? Conrad's in the building saying what's up to Quills. Conrad getting some love from Clown. You know what I'm saying? Giving back love to, and Conrad, of course, saying, Fiend. It's so stupid. Ray Thompson, Fiend, so stupid. I can't stand it. Quilly, he says, when is like Stephen A. Smith describing the Dallas Cowboys, what can go wrong will go wrong because they are an accident waiting to happen. That is WWE right now, in my opinion. Conrad says, by the way, make sure you check out Conrad, EPW, and of course, Clash of the Podcast, 6:05 every Monday night. By the way, think about the foolish that they made. The Rock go through to announce New Orleans. Oh, go through the trouble, I guess he meant to say, of announcing New Orleans, and they took it away. Goes back into the theory I was talking about with internal creative beef. I feel you. Possibly some issues between Triple H and The Rock. You never know. Travis Scott, Mleezy says, is an influence. The ending to WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania is just garbage. There's no question about that. Sir Quilly says, underwhelming. Facts. Quill also says, but then again, underwhelming is an understatement. You got that right. Jocelyn, thank you for being here, my sister. She says, evening, it sounds like everything's about social media views. You are not lying. That's the problem I have with the company. Emily Fishy says, God, I hope not about Logan Paul as world champion, but it's a possibility. And it's a shame that it's even a possibility. Clown says, it makes no sense for The Rock to say, I wash my hands of the situation and just wanted Cody Rhodes and Cena to do their own thing. But then this guy Travis is the one who walks out. It's absolute lunacy, Clown. I agree with you. It's absolute lunacy. Robert Brown in the building. Welcome to the show. Lafayette, Indiana in the building. What's popping? Appreciate you being here, Robert. Make it a point to subscribe. We look forward to having you on future shows, man. Thank you. Everything Pro Wrestling, Conrad says it better not. You never know, man. What's good, Robert, from Clown? On a scale of 1 to 10, the nervousness about Jey Uso losing the title. Quills is fairly confident that Jey Uso will retain. Matt Leezy's kind of like me, kind of 50-50 about worry about he's going to probably lose. 50-50. I'm concerned. I'm not going to lie. Robert Brown says, everything Pro Wrestling. Talking to Conrad. What's good? How about you, brother? Giving a shout out. Ray Thompson says, would be awful if Jey dropped the title already to Paul. I've said it before, Ray. Clash of the Podcast Monday night. When Jey Uso, resumes matter. That's all I cared about. As long as Jey Uso was not like, and I'm going to name him like I always do, don't get mad at me. This is how I feel. As long as Jey Uso didn't end up like Kurt Hennig, God rest his soul, didn't end up like Scott Hall, God rest his soul, didn't end up like Owen Hart, God rest his soul, and live and die and not be a world champion when they truly deserve to be it, I was cool. If Jey Uso lost the title the day after WrestleMania, I would have been fine. But I have to amend what I said, Ray. I have to amend what I said, chat. If Jey Uso loses the title to Logan Paul, it's going to make me sick. Almost as sick as seeing the Knicks blow a 14-point lead with 2 minutes and 52 seconds left on the clock. But I digress. More on that in a minute. Conrad said it's at a 3. I don't know if you guys heard what I said. Now, I want to make sure you heard the scale. 10 being confident that Jay's going to retain, 1 being confident that Logan Paul is going to be the next champion, and Conrad says it's a 3. So Conrad thinks there is a very good chance that Logan Paul could be the next heavyweight champion of the world tomorrow at Saturday Night's Main Event. Clown is kind of bringing me back to reality. He's saying, don't worry, Sean. Jey Uso's going to retain. He's at a 9. Ray, he's even more confident. He says, I'll give it a 10 that he'll retain. So he's totally confident, 100% guaranteed Jay's going to walk out as champion. I hope you're right. I do think Gunther Ray says we'll win it back on Raw. That is a possibility. No doubt about that. I actually think Jay Uso is going to be a victim of the Money in the Bank, but that's just my personal opinion. And Lacey Fashizi, he says, they did New Orleans more dirty because they announced it on TV and people likely booked their hotel rooms for it. And now they're trying to get their refunds. Wow, that's a really good point. And super sad. You're so right. Robert Brown says WWE took a major loss losing to New Orleans for WrestleMania. Yeah, well, they didn't probably take a loss. They're going to go somewhere else. Just found you on a random scroll. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. How often you guys go live? I go live every Friday. Myself and Conrad go live every Monday. Check us out. Shout out to Flip. He said flip it. He's saying that he's confident Jay Uso is going to win. Okay. So Conrad was like, okay, I'm flipping it. Cleasy says, the only reason Jay drops title Logan, and I don't want to put this out there because it's Goldberg beating Gunther for it at SummerSlam. Oh my God. Heaven forbid. Conrad says Jay Uso is winning. Okay, that's what's up. Oh my God. Jocelyn is a Pacer fan, y'all. Best game one of the conference finals. I respect you, but I have to choke. All right, check this out, Jocelyn. I guarantee I guarantee the Knicks win tonight. The series will be 1-1 going back to Indiana, okay? Now, this is my logic. In chat, let me know what you think. And we're going to get back to Travis Scott in a couple of seconds. My logic is that the New York Knicks won game one. What are you talking about, Sean? Follow me on this. The New York Knicks won game one. They just gave it away. So it's essentially the fact that they won the game, but they were like, hey, we're idiots. We're goofballs. We are choke artists, and we're going to give this game. So essentially, when I say that we won game one, what that means to me now, Jocelyn, is that the New York Knicks are going to have to win 5 out of 7 because they won game one unofficially, even though they choked it away because they dominated the whole fourth quarter and then acted stupid in the end, right, to lose the game. So now they're going to win tonight. I'm going to predict that they actually win game 3 on the road. I think that Indiana wins game 4. And if you go according to my prediction, that would mean the series would be tied 2-2 with the Knicks having home court advantage. I think the Knicks will win game 5. And I think the Knicks will win game 6. So it's going to be Indiana, Knicks, Indiana, Knicks. Knicks in 6. Holla at your boy. Jocelyn, I love to talk more about this. We can get into it a little bit more. I love it. Sir Quill says, you have a world-class wrestler like Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Gunther, CM Punk, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and I'll say Chad Gable on Raw, but yet number one contender is Logan Paul. The epitome of incompetence, as Quilly likes to say. Conrad says, Goldberg wins the title, throw the book into the trash. You ain't telling no lie. Conrad says, in reference to the Knicks, there's 7 games for a reason. Thank God for that. David Roska in the building. Appreciate that. New York Knicks will win game 2 tonight. I guarantee it, and I'm glad you agree. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. And he says Knicks will win the series in 7 games. I pray you're right. Whether it's Knicks in 5, Knicks in 6, or Knicks in 7. Lord, let it happen. Anyway. So, guys, all I'm saying is this. You can't continue to just ruin the integrity of the product. To me, Travis Scott being involved in a WrestleMania main event sullies the reputation of pro wrestling. It does. It sullies the reputation of pro wrestling. Having Logan Paul as the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title, it sullies the reputation of pro wrestling. It does. And it's a shame because it's a sport and an entertainment avenue that we all love. We all love. So, to me, I'm just devastated that WWE, a show that I love so much as it relates to the past, all I watch on the network is old pay-per-views. I watch old pay-per-views, old Raws. I'm like, man, this stuff used to be awesome. And now, what are we watching? Other than when Jey Uso comes out, I really don't care. I like the Judgment Day a little bit, but that's starting to get corny. We'll see what happens with the new Roxanne Perez element. That looked kind of cool, but I have no faith in the product. and I've said it before and I've said it again. I think Matt brought up prices. I'm going to bring up an old analogy I said about prices. If a Snicker bar is $1 and then all of a sudden you charge $1.25, it doesn't mean the Snicker bar is any better. Same thing with making seats that were 100 into 150. It doesn't mean the product's any better. It doesn't. And when it comes to Triple H's product, the former owner was here. The former guy was here. Triple H is here. Just because you're a little bit better than the guy who did it before does not make you any good. I think Triple H is a C- booker, and that might even be generous at this point. Conrad, welcome, and David. Sir Quilly says the epitome of incompetence. Salute, Hubs. I got, that's your line. That's your line, bro. I'm going to give you credit where credit is due. Conrad says, be sure to hit like and subscribe for Hub. I appreciate that, Conrad. Conrad said, last week, Penta lost to Finn Balor, I think you meant to say, obviously. Don't bring my father. He's my father, too, my heavenly father. I could pray. Come on now, Jocelyn. But we'll see what happens. Clown says, that Prime display gets you a few perks on the rating system. Okay, that's what's up. I mean, I hear that. That's one thing, but him not being number one contender is not acceptable. Conrad says, Felix lost to Solo Sikoa. What are we doing to book them on that AAA NXT show? Oh, my. Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. Clown says, Lucha Bros quickly, just another guy. Exactly, just another guy. We talked about that. We talked about on Clash of the Podcast. They're turning into just run-of-the-mill guys again. Are just guys, Emily said. Exactly. We said it would happen. Oh, he meant Finn Balor. He was being funny about the Finn Balor. Okay, I got you covered. But listen, as always, man, I don't keep you guys long on these HUBBanomics. We try to keep it about a half hour, 20 minutes or less. I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here. But before we go, I'm going to talk about the New York Knicks, and I'm going to talk about something I put up on my social media on Wednesday night, guys. I'm a Knicks fan. I love the Knicks. I've loved the Knicks since I was a kid. The Knicks haven't won a championship since before I was a thought in my mother and father's brain. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. The New York Knicks have not won a championship since I was a thought. Before I was a thought in my mother and father's brain. 1973, a decade and a half before I was born, was the last time the Knicks won a championship. Big shout out to Walt Clyde Frazier. Big shout out to Earl of Pearl Monroe. Big shout out to the late, great Willis Reed. Then the 90s came along with Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Anthony Mason, the late, great Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, couldn't get it done. Then it was the Carmelo and Stoudemire Knicks. Well, Halliburton did the choke sign on Wednesday night. And a lot of my friends who are Knicks fans along with me were like, yo, that's messed up. Yo, that's mad. That's bad. Like, who does he think he is? You know what he is? He's a guy that punked you in your own building. I'm a Knicks fan. But you know what I am? More than a Knicks fan, I'm real. Do I want the Knicks to come back and win this series? Do I want the Knicks to pull off a miracle and beat what looks like is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals and win their first championship in 52 years? I do. I love the Knicks, but I'm also a realist. If you don't want Tyrese Halliburton doing this to you, then don't blow 14-point leads with 2 minutes to go. If you don't want to be humiliated, then don't blow 9-point leads with 59 seconds to go. At the end of the day, the Knicks did it to themselves. So tonight, the Knicks need to come out with a sense of urgency. And I predict that my New York Knicks are going to beat Jocelyn's Indiana Pacers, who I see the comment haven't won a championship of their own in the ABA since 1973. Ironically, they won their last championship in the ABA in 73, and the Knicks won their last championship in the NBA in 73. My Knicks are going to beat Jocelyn's Pacers tonight, and I'm going to take it a step further. The Knicks are going to win tonight by double figures. The Knicks are going to win tonight by double figures because the Knicks are the better team. But as we saw when it comes to the Knicks and the Boston Celtics, You don't have to be the better team to always win. The Knicks are not better than the Boston Celtics, and we won. The Indiana Pacers are not better than the New York Knicks, but they can win if the Knicks continue to be stupid. But I predict the Knicks are going to win tonight, and I predict the Knicks are going to win Game 3. So by the time Conrad and I, 6:05 Eastern Standard Time, Everything Pro Wrestling Channel, Clash of the Podcast, by the time Conrad and myself sign on for Clash of the Podcast on Monday night, the New York Knicks will be up 2-1. But as it relates to the choke side and Tyrese Halliburton, I don't think Tyrese Halliburton did anything wrong other than what M. Leezy's talking about. Maybe he should have made sure it was a 3-pointer before a 2-pointer. But Tyrese Halliburton and anybody in the NBA has a right to clown anybody in the NBA in good taste, not like Paul Pierce, that idiot. And I'm looking at Paul Pierce. I would fight you, Paul Pierce. I would fight Paul Pierce. I swear to God. All right, I'm just playing. But I can't stand that dude. He dogs the Knicks all the time. But anyway, you don't want somebody to humiliate you. Don't put yourself in a position to be humiliated. Sound familiar, Triple H? You don't want people talking crap about your booking? Book better crap. But that sounds like a good idea. And you know what that means. So on behalf of myself, I'm happy to say you guys are here on HUBBanomics. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, I call people out by name. Jocelyn, my dear, thank you so much. Clown, appreciate you. M. Leezy for Sheezy. Sir Quilly's always a pleasure. My brother from another mother, Conrad Cushman. Always, I appreciate you, my guy. David Rosca, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate it greatly. Robert Brown, thank you for being here. Ray Thompson, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you guys for being here. Always, always something that I take very seriously and never take for granted, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're right here. So with that being said, God bless, be encouraged. Let's go Knicks, and we'll see you on Monday night on Clash of the Podcast. Enjoy Saturday night's main event. Enjoy Battleground. Enjoy Double or Nothing. We'll see you Monday on Everything Pro Wrestling Channel. Until then, you already know what it is. Later.